You're on WVBR FM Ithaca, and we just heard from, that was Lightning Hopkins, You Got to Work to Get Your Pay. Little Joe Blue, Dirty Work Going On. Started off with Otis Rush, Homework. In the studio, I'm glad to present Michael Charles is here.
How you doing?
Oh, let me turn you on, sorry. There we go.
There we go, we're live now?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay, we're here.
Is that, I think you might need to talk in that mic. Yeah, sorry,
Right,
Michael. So, why don't you go ahead and introduce them?
Hi, this is Michael Charles is going to be joining us in the studio here, and I'm Kevin Black. He'll be playing tonight at the Boathouse Beer Garden from 6 to 9, just if anybody's interested. He just drove in from Chicago, played a show last night at the Rongovian Embassy, and today he's going to try to electrify some people here at the Boathouse Beer Garden. So, without further ado, there's Michael Charles. Just came in for the end of town here.
Oh, thanks for being in the studio.
We're on the right mic now? Can you hear me?
You are on the right mic.
Now, finally live.
Yeah, we got it going. Thanks for coming in.
No, thank you.
So why don't you tell us how somebody in Victoria and Melbourne got into the blues? It sounds like a really early age, at 13.
Yeah, I started playing guitar when I was 5 years old, believe it or not. So, my dad played a guitar. He did it. He wasn't a full-time musician, but he did it as a hobby. He loved playing guitar. So there was always that guitar at home, and then just growing up in a house with a guitar, when you're a little kid like that, and you watch your dad playing, it just fascinates you. So, and everybody wants to be like their dad when they're a kid, So that's where it all started. He showed me the basic chord structures and things, and I remember. I was probably about 7 or 8 years old. We were at a big family party. I remember I couldn't tell you what the party was all about, but there was a lot of people, and they threw me up on stage at 7 years old, and I kind of got the bug that night. I thought, wow, this is really cool. Whether I sounded good or not, who knows?
Yeah.
But the reaction was good, so I said, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And believe it or not, at that age, I decided that's what I was going to do, and I haven't looked back, and just been doing it ever since, and it's been my travel in life.
Great. Well, so did your dad play the blues, or just?
He was more into, he loved the country music, so my first things that I learnt were a lot of those, picking guitar country licks and things like that. And, growing up in the 60s and 70s, radio was huge. It wasn't, now that we're more into the, social media and everything. Life was a little bit different back then. So when you put the radio on, whatever was on the radio, that's what you were influenced by. And back those days, guys like Cream and Eric Clapton and Carlos Santana and, B.B. King and all these, even Elvis Presley, he was blues-based influence. So, all these things that you're fed on the radio would become the things that you got familiar hearing with your ears, and that's what I started playing, and that's where I got. So you're learning the blues without really knowing you're learning the blues, because you just fed that. It's food to your ears, and no regrets. I love. The blues is great music.
Great. So you brought some music in. I'm gonna play, and I've been doing this whole work theme the whole day, and probably played 2 versions of the song, but we're gonna play a third.
We're talking Big Boss Man.
We are talking Big Boss Man.
I heard. I think one version in the vehicle, in the car.
Yeah, we had the Pretty Things earlier, but we started off with the original and the Jimmy Reed version.
Yeah, great version.
I love it.
Yeah.
So this is Michael Charles' version right here. You're listening to Crossroads. And that was Michael Charles. He's live in the studio. That was his My Big Boss Man. Hey, what's up, Michael?
Here we are.
We are.
Chatting, yeah.
So I got, in addition to him being a great singer and songwriter and guitar player, I was going to say you have at least a couple albums of just all originals, right?
Well, all my albums are all original music, and what happened was at every live show I would always throw a few of my favourite songs that weren't mine, and people come up to the merchandise table and say, I want that version of, Big Boss Man, for example, or After Midnight, or Cocaine, or whatever, and they'd have to say, well, it doesn't exist on his record.
Right.
So through public demand, or fan demand, I should say, I did a series of singles, which were the covers that I do at my shows. And so there's, I think there's 5 singles with rare covers that I actually play. So.
And those were done live, or you actually did them?
Well, the title track of it would be the original. Would be a studio version, and then I would go delve into the archives and find some live cuts of things and put them in there as a bonus cut. So it's kind of historic as well, a little bit of an anthology of some of these cover songs that I do. And it's a span of 5 discs.
Oh, great! Wow.
Yeah.
So Kevin is has gotten Michael to be here. He's promoting the show, Kevin Black, and it's going to be tonight again in the beer garden, right?
Yeah, it's at the Boathouse Beer Garden in Romulus. It's straight up from on 89. It's about 30 minutes outside of Ithaca, 21 miles, I believe. And he's going to be there from 6 to 9 tonight. So if you get a chance, I mean, if you missed last night, which was amazing, you definitely don't want to miss tonight, or today actually, from 6 to 9, and it's he's electrifying. I mean, obviously he's inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame in 2015, so. It's something of a treat to have him in the area, actually. That's
really great. So we're gonna play something from your album, My Shadow. Was that your most recent record? Or?
Oh no, that's actually that was released that was my first release that I actually did when I moved to the States back in '96, when I was officially said I'm staying in the States.
Uh-huh.
And so that's a bit of a crossover, because there's recordings on there from I recorded in the US and as well as Australia, so it's a crossover CD, yeah. But it's one of my biggest sellers. So people just love that CD, which is great. It's good. It's good to be able to sit here and say, yeah, there's a CD that's one of my best sellers. It's
right.
Nice. Nice feeling. Yeah.
Great. So we're gonna hear from My Shadow. This is Most Times We Got It right here on WVBR. And you're listening to WVBR FM Ithaca. We have Michael Charles in the studio. That was from his album My Shadow. Most times we get it.
We got it.
We got it.
We got it.
I got it. Thanks.
You got it?
I got it. So he's going to be live tonight at the Beer Garden up 38 as part of the Boatyard Beer Garden.
Yeah, we're at Route 89, straight up out of Ithaca, and it's probably about, like I say, 21 miles. I think it's a 30-minute drive, and nice scenic view of the lake, and we're overlooking the lake where he's playing. It's nice and relaxing out there, sitting and listening in the yard, dance, whatever.
Sounds great. So we'll be right back. We got one more song coming up, and Final Departure. Gary Reinboldt's in the studio, and he will be. I'm sure he has a theme prepared.
Beginnings.
What is it?
Beginnings.
Beginnings. So stay tuned for Beginnings. And we're in the studio with Michael Charles. We're going to wrap it up with one more track. So he's going to be again live tonight at the Boathouse Beer Garden.
See, thank God Kevin's here, man.
Yeah, I know.
Because I couldn't have got that right.
Yeah, well, we have a restaurant, but it's related to the Boatyard restaurant, right? No. Oh, look, I can just read it right here. The Boathouse Beer Garden is on it's on Route 89 near Romulus, and should be great. 6 to 9 tonight. Thank you so much for
Where
being
do you live, David?
I live in Ithaca. just to double check, yeah.
Get out much?
Yeah, I don't even have a car, so I have to get people to drive me around.
Anyways, thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you for being here, and look forward to seeing you later on. So this is Michael Charles doing Otis Rush. This is all your love.
It's one of my favorite songs.
Great song. And stay tuned, as I said. Final Departure coming up next.